Okay, all right, everybody. So the people voted. They want me to do, you want me to do nightly tastings. So here we go. Day one of being on lockdown. I think California is calling it safer at home. I am stocked up, safer at home. So the first thing we're gonna try tonight is Compass Box Flaming Heart. This is the 2018 limited edition. I believe this is the 6th edition that they've had. They do them every year, slightly different each time. This one does incorporate some sherry casks, so there's a little bit of sweetness from there, and I think they've only done that once before. But anyways, a little bit more about this. So Compass Box is essentially a blender or independent bottler, and this bottling in particular is at 48.9% ABV, so a little bit higher than what people will normally grab off the shelves, which is great. It is a blended malt scotch whiskey. So it is from Scotland. That means everything that's in here comes from malted barley in the fermentation, and it is produced fermentation, distillation, maturation in Scotland. In order for it to be considered whiskey in Scotland, it must be matured for at least 3 years. So everything that's in here is at least 3 years old. Now everything that's blended in here is of varying ages depending on the flavor profile that goes into each one of the constituents. What else do I have to say about this? So the flavors that you'll get here, you'll get a lot of peatiness and a lot of baking spice. The peatiness is coming from the fact that this is a majority Caol Ila, which is an Islay Scotch whiskey, where they use peat smoke to malt the barley. And it's also using a lot of heavily toasted new French oak barrels, and French oak will give you a lot of baking spice. Now, like I said, they use some sherry casks for this blend as well, so you'll get some nice sweetness that comes from that, and some of the French oak will also give you some nice vanilla, caramel flavors, etc. This bottle is about $150, so not super expensive. And yeah, let's taste it. So for those of you who are new to tasting booze, whiskey, anything like that, you want to take it slow. Everything you do is savoring it. So even when it comes to the nose, you can sit here and nose it for as long as you'd like. And when you nose, you're not taking in a super deep inhale, right? Again, this is almost 50% ABV, so those aromas will come to you. So gentle inhaling as you're nosing. And on the nose, you do get, there's a lot of honey, there's some of that baking spice, and you get that smokiness from the Islay right off the bat. Maybe you'll be able to get some like apples. Yeah, it's nice and tasty. All right, so we'll go ahead and take a sip. Now, when you're sipping whiskey or again, sipping any booze, when you're trying it out, you wanna take a tiny enough sip that will fully coat your tongue, but not too much. This isn't like wine where you get a full mouthful, okay? Just enough to fully coat your tongue. And you want to let it travel all over your palate. So front, back, side to side, even underneath the tongue, and let it sit in your mouth for way longer than you think it should be there. You know, with something that is alcoholic, you'll get that immediate alcohol sensation, right? The tingliness, it's the alcohol volatilizing off your tongue. And you wanna make sure that the sip is really sinking into your palate. So let it sit there. There's a taster who is very famous, or a blender who is very famous, who is known for saying that you should leave the booze in your mouth 1 second for every year it is old. So that means if you're drinking really delicious, like 30-year-old, 40-year-old booze, you're leaving it in your mouth for 30 to 40 seconds, which seems ridiculous, but trust me, it really helps open up the entire flavor profile. That's really nice. Nice and roastiness of the peat that's coming through. But you also get a little bit of butterscotch and vanilla and honey, some baking spice, and there's a little bit of dried fruits to it. Very subtle, more of like dried apples that's kind of lingering in the back. It's got a good mouthfeel to it as well. It feels nice in the mouth, nice and silky. Yeah, this is a great whiskey. So let me know if anyone has any questions at all about tasting or anything you want me to try next. We've got a lot of days of booze built up here. Hopefully I don't run out of booze before the lockdown or the quarantine gets lifted. But thanks, guys.